Welcome, everybody, to Fandom Nights, where we break down pop culture one fandom at a time. I'm Chris.
I'm Dustin.
And I'm Sherman.
And today we are talking about Mad Max Fury... Wait, no. We are talking about Koreans and cars getting... No, wait. We're talking about The Mandalorian, Season 2, Episode 7, and Dustin is having the time of his life right now.
Yeah, you guys can go over the story. I'm going to just sit back and relax this time.
Alright, Dustin.
No.
You don't want to take us to the story? This
No.
is chapter...
Season 2.
Mando dies. The end.
Wait, no,
You
spoiler.
guys confuse me about all
no.
these dumb other things.
No, so we're on
That was a terrible beginning.
Mandalorian.
Worse than last time.
We are on Mandalorian chapter 15. What was this one called? The Believer?
The Believer.
Yeah.
Which kind of threw me for a loop.
Do you know... We won't get ahead. I won't try to spoil it too much, but do you know why they called this episode The Believer?
To make people believe.
No, because I saw his face. Now I'm believer, not a trace.
Alright, so you and me, we're going to do this episode alone, right?
I'm debating about just letting you guys do it while I go to the culture. Because I really want to start over again.
Okay. Dustin, take us through the plot, please.
I don't know where to begin, man. They die. That's about it. You guys open it. You guys can do it.
You don't want to go through the plot?
No, not really.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay, Sherman, let's figure out the plot then, I guess.
Come on, man. I was like, I know you're
Easy,
pulling his chain.
Man, he's too easy over here. Alright, so
You had me going there for a second, too. I'm like, oh, man.
Man, these guys are easy. Alright, the episode opens with a New Republic corrections transport. I'll skip this. Alright. So the episode opens up, I forget what world, but basically it looks like they're just taking apart decommissioned, like, TIE fighters and all kinds of different empire.
AT-ATs.
Like a legit scrapping planet.
It's a legit scrapyard. It looks almost like the Jedi Fallen Order scrapyard.
Yeah, it does. I wonder if it's the same one. I didn't think about that.
No, because this is... What did it say it's on? Flying over the Cathron Chop Fields. I guess it doesn't really say where.
You go through the story. I'll see if I can find it.
It doesn't really say, I guess, where that planet is, but I guess it very well could be the same one. But basically, it opens with Miggs Mayfield, and the droid is telling him that his inmate 34667 has been, like, essentially been...
Reassigned
34667. 34667. He says it like a million times. You're like, man, I hate droids.
I memorized that number, 34667.
It's now the passcode to everything in my life. My ATM number, my door. No.
Oh yeah. Basically, he gets reassigned to Cara Dune, and Cara Dune doesn't really tell him what's going on, and he's like, "Where am I going? Where am I going?" And then the droid, yeah.
I love how he says that. He's like, it's basic manners. Like, if you're gonna like bring somebody somewhere, to tell them where you're going.
I loved his humor this entire episode.
He was great.
Yeah. Like, have you guys ever watched his actual stand-up?
Yeah.
Like,
he was amazing in this entire episode. Everything with him in it was just amazing.
I liked him better than the first time I saw him.
Oh yeah. But you kind of needed the first one to kind of set him up a little bit, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I like how we got a little bit of his past stuff too. Later on, but yeah, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, she doesn't tell him where he's going, and then it kind of pans out, and you see Slave One in the background. That's obviously where they're going.
Where are we going? And then it just pans up, and there's Slave One. And Rosie was like, "Where are they going?" And I'm like, oh, "Yeah, she doesn't recognize that ship as much as I do, so she didn't know."
Well, not only that, but like with the coloration, Slave One literally looks like it blends in with all,
it
like,
just looked like another piece of junk. Yeah,
scrap.
Right. So basically, he gets there, and Fennec and Boba are sitting out front, and he comes out there. He's like, "Oh, I thought you were the other guy." And then Mando walks down, and he's like, "Oh crap!"
The music just starts up. You're like,
yeah.
The first thing I thought when I saw that, like when he walks up to Slave One, I was like, I'm so happy to see Slave One still like up and running. But like when I saw Boba, I'm like, he got a new paint job. Like all of his armor was
gosh,
like,
the paint job was amazing. It looked great, but they still had the dent in his helmet.
I know.
They still left that, but everything else is just back to normal.
When did they find time to like repaint his stuff?
He just doesn't sleep. He's like, I can't sleep until my armor's repainted.
Yeah, he would be the kind of guy to do that.
I mean, he just lost his armor for who knows how long.
Yeah, it's kind of
Could
like
be
when you
5 days.
get a new car or something or whatever, and you just like, all I want to do is spend time in it. I don't know.
So basically, Mando and Kara explain that they are trying to find the coordinates to Moff Gideon's light cruiser, and Miggs Mayfield tells them that there's this secret mining facility where they could get this information from, and no one believes that it exists except for Miggs Mayfield, but he's like, it's secret.
It's there. I'm
It's
telling
there. I'm telling you. And so it's on this planet called Morok, and so they end up going to Morok, and Mando tells. I like how Mando's giving Fett orders. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like, Fett, put in the destination for Morok.
And I like how he didn't say
Got
Boba.
it.
He's like Fett.
Right, he's Fett.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess
That
there's
was cool.
respect there too, but.
See, I was a little confused when he said Morak as the planet, because like as soon as he said it, I was like, wait, that sounds really familiar, but it's literally just one letter off from
Morag.
which is the mining planet in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, okay. I was like, why does that sound familiar?
Yeah.
So then after they kind of explain that in order to do this, they need to like scan their faces, and so they're kind of deciding to pick between the bunch of who's going to be like really going on this mission. Hey, look, another friend request. And basically, they come to the conclusion that Mando and Miggs Mayfield are going to do this, and I kind of got the hint after Miggs Mayfield is like, well, I mean, you can't take off your Mando gear, so how are you going to come and help do this?
Yeah.
And I was like, interesting. I wonder what they're going to do now.
It was just a cool back and forth because he's like, I'll just do it alone. I'll just do it alone. And then Mando's like, no, you're not doing this alone. Like, I don't trust you, basically, to do this by yourself. And so one of them has to.
I don't
go
think
with
it
him.
was like that. I think
You
it was
don't
just
think
because
so?
all their faces would be recognized by the ISB scan.
Well, he Mayfield was Mayfield.
Miggs Mayfield.
He was just going to do it alone. Why wouldn't they want him to just? Okay, yeah, go ahead. Go
Because
give
he
us
had just
information.
told them that his face will register on there.
Oh, okay. Okay, so he needed to have someone else
Essentially,
go
yeah.
through there. Yeah.
And then Fennec was like, no, my face will recognize. And Boba was like, let's just say they'll recognize my face.
I laughed so hard at that line. Let's just say they might recognize my face. And Rosie's like, "What?
Do you understand why?
Yeah, oh yeah, because he's the
Clone.
basis, or he is a clone, but his face is the same as all the clones.
Right.
Yeah, which some people online were like, "Oh, I thought it was because they know him for working for the Empire," and it's like, no, he looks like a clone. He's a
I was
clone.
like, I mean, I don't think random troopers or like random Empire people are gonna recognize him.
Yeah.
Because like he worked directly for.
Can you imagine if he did go on the mission
Yeah.
and he took off his helmet and then like that general or whatever like looks over like, what's that clone doing here?
Let you guys roll decommission.
Yeah. That would have been a good scene. But anyways, so then and then Mando's like, I'll do it. And this whole episode, man, it like gave me chills like how much he loves Baby Yoda. Like, and he's like going,
He's willing to do anything.
He's doing all these crazy things for him.
Yeah.
For Baby Yoda, and then later on, we'll get to it. But later on, like I was reading about this episode, and like something jumped out at me. I'm like, I was like tearing up, just laying in bed, like reading all this stuff. Like, oh my gosh, that's so awesome! But yeah, he's willing to take off his armor first of all, and because he's like, oh, I'll go, and then he scans up and sees the stormtroopers or whatever in there, which those are cool suits, by the way.
Yeah, he scanned to make sure that they had full armor.
Oh, sure.
To make sure they had helmets.
Yeah.
And then that's when he was like, because then it says right here, like, you either gotta do this or say goodbye to your little green friend. And that's when he's like,
I'll do it.
He does the scan and whatever, and he's like, alright, I'll do it.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just so crazy. Like, do this, or your child's gonna be tortured by the Empire for the rest of its life.
I don't think it's gonna be tortured.
Whatever. You know what
I think it's gonna be
turned to the dark side.
that and harvested all the midichlorians it possibly can.
Yeah.
Which means literally draining all your blood.
Right.
Yeah, essentially.
But so then he goes and changes into the stormtrooper armor, and it's like, oh, okay. you just
Which
crossed the
that
big
outfit
line
through
right there.
like was kind of weird, but like, it just I've never seen that like style
Yeah.
before.
Are you familiar with that style at all? Is that
What?
that style
For
of
the transport
stormtrooper
unit.
armor?
It's new.
No,
Oh,
that's cool.
I would assume they're like. Well, it just says they're Juggernaut. I remember that Juggernaut 5 and Juggernaut 4. So maybe they're Juggernaut soldiers, Juggernaut
Okay.
stormtroopers. I don't know.
Or is that the
but
thing
also
they're driving?
Right, that is also called a Juggernaut.
Okay.
So maybe it's just their Juggernaut 5 is just like 5 and 4 is just their numbers to assign to the vehicle or whatever. Who knows?
Sure.
yeah.
So yeah. Basically, Cara Dune enters the cockpit and slams them down, knocks them out or whatever, and then they pull over, and that's when they change into the Mando changes into the stormtrooper suit or whatever, and then that's when they start driving off.
I like how you can still tell that it's Mando because the way he walks and stuff. Like you can just like tell that he's inside.
Oh
that
yeah.
suit.
Yeah. Pedro Pascal has actually talked about how like he's redefined like the way Mando is portrayed this season, like physically, because like with the fact that you can't see his face, like he wanted to like show more of the character through like his actual physical actions, because that's really like the only way you get to like see his emotion. But during that scene, my favorite part was I'm like, of course you send the professional wrestler to like beat the crap out of these two guys.
Take them all out. Yeah.
So then we get the conversation between Mayfield and Mando, and Mayfield remarks that someone somewhere is ruling the galaxy, and that we're just all being ruled.
Which this whole conversation was like, whoa, this is like what we've talked about. This is what every fandom person has ever talked about. Like, even like, oh, is the Empire good or is it bad? Well, no, this whole episode is about how, no, people want order. They don't want freedom, or they want someone's going to be in charge, you know, in some way, shape, or form.
Which, I mean, is a vaguely like political like insert.
Yeah,
because it's like it doesn't matter if like Republicans or Democrats, whoever like is in charge. Like you live in a, you know,
they're both
dictatorship,
the left and right wing of the same bird.
Right.
Or like even if you like live in a or dictatorship country, like it doesn't matter who's in charge. People on the bottom are just going to be on the bottom,
ruled by somebody.
You guys do realize this America is a dictatorship, right? It's a very well constructed dictatorship. Watch the clip from the movie The Dictator when he's telling
oh my god, I know, I love it.
Seriously.
The old movie with Charlie Chaplin?
No. Sacha Baron Cohen, like,
okay.
he literally goes on this rant talking about how, like, if you guys were a dictatorship, you could do this, and this.
But it's everything America's already doing.
Oh, jeez.
You could lock up an entire, like, group of people you don't like. And it's like...
No, you could lock up an entire race of people, and with no explanation. And then it pans to a black guy, and he's like, what?
Oh, no. Oh, jeez.
But, yeah. Watch that clip.
Yeah.
America's a dictatorship. A well-constructed dictatorship.
Yeah.
Very complex.
Well, because we've given so much power to the... Anyways, yeah, it's...
This isn't really politics, though.
Yeah.
So we'll skip it.
Anyways, so yeah, like, that whole, like, it doesn't matter who's... Especially because, like, this is when you see, like, all those villagers, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, and this, like, when he's talking
when
about
they're all
that...
driving and stuff,
Yeah.
he's like...
Yes.
When he's talking about how it doesn't matter who's the Empire or the New Republic, it's all the same to these people.
Right. Yeah.
Because either way, they're still ruling their land.
Yeah.
And basically, Mayfield tells Mando that, you know, your rules are changing, and it's because you're getting desperate. You know, your rules start changing when you get desperate, because before it was you could never take off your Mando suit, and now you just can't show your face. Like, what is it? Because they're different, because you're not showing your face, but you're not wearing your Mando suit now.
Right. So he's like, is it that you can't, wear
Is
your
it
specific
you can't wear
armor?
your armor, or is it that you can't show your face? Because there's a difference.
And it just shows, and he's like, yeah, it just shows how your line, everyone's line scoots back once
You get desperate.
you get desperate. Yeah.
That's what he says.
And it like, man, that like hit me. I'm like, ouch.
See, I didn't
everyone's line moves to a point when you
hit me. Just
I know, but everyone's line moves to a point like what was that? There was like that Netflix show that was on. It was like, would you kill somebody or something, or push someone off a building? You remember that? it's still on Netflix. That like there's this crazy party and all this horrible stuff happens, and like there's one person who's like doesn't know that this is all a setup, but it's basically like, can you convince somebody to kill somebody? And it's this person is like shown and like going in all these places. Then they're convinced by all the production around them that like this person is evil and is killing people and kidnapping people. I don't remember exactly what happens, but the show ends with this person up on a roof, like kind of drunk or something, and like kind of stumbling next to the edge, and it's like, I need to kill this person because he's a horrible person. And like a couple people push, but then he falls into a net, and then like the hidden cameras all come away, and they're like, oh, I just thought I killed somebody and now I gotta explain myself. And it's like, and I feel like anyone's capable of doing crazy stuff if you're put in the right circumstances to a point. I mean, some people
I've never once heard of this show.
Really? We'll have to look it up later. It's interesting, but what he's saying is when things get desperate, or when you get desperate, you can, all your rules go out the window, you know, and that's exactly what happens here.
If they try to take my guns, it's going to be a mistake.
See, I didn't see this one as this part is like that big of a deal, because like in the first season when he's talking to the armorer, I thought like the rules were like he just couldn't have like his helmet forcibly removed or have his face shown.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, but like part is.
But he said multiple times in the series that armor is his religion. You know, it's part of his religion. So like not having his armor with him is like
weapons are my religion.
Yeah. But like not having your weapons and your armor with you is like, it's like, oh, carrying a cross around is my religion. I always wear my cross necklace, but today I'm going to swap it out for a Star of David. Like, it's like, it would just feel different, and it's like, oh, it's not the same thing. It's not the cross that my grandfather gave me, and what, like, it's just, I don't know.
I get that. I just thought that it was like he couldn't show his face.
Yeah, right. Anyways.
Or be forcibly removed out of his armor.
Yeah.
But I get it.
Alright. So then the pirates attack. And we get to see some of Mando's moves. And he relies on his armor, which
doesn't help him in this battle.
Right?
It was kind of funny watching him like block and be like, ow! And then he gets back after the whole fight scene is done. He's like, ow!
Yeah, when I saw that guy, like when he gets hit with that like staff or like spear or whatever, and like that whole pauldron just like breaks, I was like,
whoa,
he's in trouble. But I really enjoyed seeing him use like this, like a staff or spear more in this, because I'm like, oh, he's got to figure out how to like use that Beskar spear way better.
I didn't think about that. That's awesome.
Yeah,
he's like
so
training himself on how to fight with a spear. That's sweet. Wow. The whole fight scene with the pirates and stuff, it was cool. What are they transporting? They're transporting Rhydonium, which is highly explosive. It's basically nitroglycerin, but space nitro. So if you go too fast, you bump it. It just brought back scenes of Wild Wild West to me, when Will Smith is riding that cart and there's all the nitroglycerin in the back. And it's like, there's nitroglycerin in here. Anyways, it was like the same type of thing. But he's like, the whole time he's fighting,
weird reference.
He kept getting all these sticks and he'd like hit him with it, and then he'd like get it tossed away or thrown away. I'm like, just hang on to one of the sticks. It's a weapon. You gotta have some weapon. But it was cool that even if he didn't have a weapon, he just like, there's all these pirates flying at him, and he's like, all right. He just puts his fist up. He's like, this is all I got.
What do you know what race those guys were?
I think they said Transdoshans or something like that.
Transdoshans.
Not too sure.
Okay.
Because it also seemed they all looked like they were the same race of like people, right? I didn't see any different ones.
Yeah.
No, I think they were all the same. Yeah, I'm not sure. Doesn't say on Wikipedia.
So
basically, they get past all the pirates, and then they make it to the mining base thing.
And the TIE fighters come down and kill all the like 6 ships behind them or whatever. They're chasing them, and
which that part kind of bugged me. Like, why would you send one up? right, like, and like have like your other like 6 like in the back.
I'm sure they were just trying to catch up.
Especially, well, I mean, if you're gonna like try to blow these things up,
Yeah.
why not just send like all 6 in?
I don't know.
But like have only like 1 or 2 guys jump.
You're assuming that they're an intelligent species.
If they've got thermal detonators, I'm
Yeah.
assuming, yeah.
Yeah, that last scene where they're all coming at him and every single one of them is activating the thermal detonator. It's like, oh boy,
Right.
And then before one dude said it, he's like, I'm so glad that I've never been so glad to see stormtroopers. When the TIE fighters came down and they killed all the pirates and they were pulling in, I'm like, oh, I've never been like happy to be going into a Empire base before. Like I was excited, and then he said it. And
I didn't like have like an outburst, but I literally went like, "Yeah, TIE fighters!"
Yeah, I know. The same type of thing. Like, oh, thank you, Empire. Wait a second. It's the first time I've ever thought that before.
Are we the good guys here?
Are we the baddies? And then all the stormtroopers are just like excited and like, you made it. And they're like heroes of the day.
Which that was another like, because the guys in like the tan uniforms also threw me for a loop, because I've never seen those helmets before either.
Oh,
Like I wonder, like, just adding a bunch of like new stormtrooper outfits.
yeah. Well,
It's Imperial remnants.
yeah, they don't have their huge manufacturing plants anymore, so they gotta make do with what they have.
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah.
Sand troopers.
Are they? Is that what it's?
No,
Oh,
I'm guessing.
I was like, I never know when you're serious or not.
Oh yeah. So then they try to find that comm tower thing or whatever, the comm link, to get the information, and they see that it's in the officers. What do they say? The officers.
The mess.
Officers mess hall.
Yeah.
And so Mayfield sees it and he's about to go in, and then he sees someone from the past. He sees someone that he used to serve with, which we know after he reveals Operation Cinder when they sit down, but that's in a little bit. So basically, he was in Operation Cinder, which happened right after Emperor Palpatine died.
Oh,
That was the
it was right after.
That's the contingency
Okay.
plan, was Operation Cinder.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Huh.
That's like when the Emperor Palpatine droids came and like told all the high Imperial officers about his Operation Cinder plan.
Oh, okay.
And that was to like decimate worlds and like meet on Exegol and stuff like that.
Okay. And then when he didn't go in there, I was like, oh, the captain's gonna recognize him or whatever. Then by the end of the season or the end of the episode, he's like the captain. Was it a captain or general or?
You know, I don't know, because he had 4 red and 4 blue. And I think that's like admiral or a Moff. So I'm not sure.
I suppose he would be pretty high ranking if he was the one who made the decision to throw all those troops into the battle.
I have to pull up
Yeah, but either way, the commanding officer, he was worried that he was gonna recognize him, but then the whole scene happens with them together, and he doesn't recognize him. I'm like, what the heck? And then I thought about it, and it's no, he wasn't mad, or he wasn't scared that he was the commanding officer was gonna recognize him. He was scared of what he was gonna do. Like, imagine if you walked into a room with Adolf Hitler there, and you knew that this was Hitler, and you were walking in there, you're like, I gotta kill this guy. I'm gonna snap.
So, on a side note, if you walked into a room and you saw Hitler, your immediately first thought would be to kill him.
If I knew for sure it was
you had
Hitler,
you had a gun on you, 100% confirmation that he was Hitler. You would not hesitate to pull up that gun and just shoot him, or would you not want to go talk to him?
that is kind of a hard question, but
I would love to talk to him and see what he's actually about, and then kill him.
I guess information is pretty valuable.
Yes, the most valuable commodity on the earth.
Not only that, like, I'm in that situation. Like, not if it were me, I would love to be a fly on the wall for you, because like I know you're kind of a stubborn guy. So like I would love to see if Hitler would like convert you over towards his side and be like, yeah, you know, the Jews are pretty bad.
It is a little bit.
Now that you say something, Hitler,
but
you got me.
now that you put it that way, I totally see your side. Art school sucks, man.
Chamber.
No, so it wouldn't just be if it was Hitler, because that he didn't directly affect my life personally. He did obviously with the world, but if Hitler was still alive and he bombed all of Duluth and everyone in town died, all of my family, friends, everyone died, and then 5 years later I run into him somewhere, the first thought I have is to kill him. Yes, in that situation, which is the situation that he was in. You know what I mean? Like 10,000 of his fellow troops died because of this guy, and he's like bragging about it. And anyways, so he's worried that if he walks in there, it's not that he's going to recognize him. He's worried that I'm going to flip out and I'm going to kill him. I just know myself. I know that I'm just going to flip out. I can't just do this mission and get out without confronting him. That's how I read it more than him actually going to recognize him, because he doesn't recognize him the whole time, you know. So, anyways. Oh, so then Mando goes in there, and he's like, I'll do it. And the whole time I'm like, what are you going to do? And I love how he tried to, because the little terminal has to scan your face for some reason, which, why would it have to scan your face, but whatever. That's something I want to get to, but...
Because then it would know all your clearance codes, what you're cleared for.
Yeah, but like, why did it allow...
Wanted.
Right. It's
Obviously,
almost...
Din Djarin's face has never been scanned.
Right. It's almost like instead of a whitelist, it's a blacklist thing, where it allows anyone to use it as long as you're not on the blacklist.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which seems like a weird security thing, but
anyone in the Empire.
Right, but he's not in the Empire. It just means if...
Yeah, but to everyone else around them, they are, because they're in suits.
Yeah, but it doesn't recognize... His face isn't on any registers or anything, so why would...
Mandos?
Mandos.
Yeah.
Yeah, so why would it allow him... If I go to the...
He's not on any blacklist.
Right, I know, but I'm saying if I go to Fort Knox or something and like try to go in to see all the gold, like, and it scans my face to allow me in there...
Don't apply real world to...
I'm just saying it only allows people who are in the registry in there, but there's a explanation for it in Legends for this type of technology, which is kind of interesting, because so in our world you have to have a whitelist, so you're not gonna get into my house unless your face scan is in my database. So if your face scan comes up in my database, then I'll allow you into my house. But in this world, there's so many worlds and there's billions and trillions of beings out there that there's no way to keep a whitelist of everyone that's allowed to be in there. It's actually more beneficial to have a blacklist where all the bad people are just not allowed into it. And plus, they keep out all the droids and stuff like that, because when he had his helmet on, it scanned him, and so I thought he was a droid or something like that. But in the Han Solo Adventures in Legends, there's a portion where it talks about, there's a little excerpt here that says, the Authority Currency Exchange had no idea it was abetting a transaction involving gun running and insurrection. Han and Chewbacca had already managed to unload the gems with which they'd been paid, exchanging them for precious metals and rare crystalline vertexes. So basically they stole a bunch of stuff and they were trying to trade them in for money at this terminal. And the terminal allowed them to do it because it just had a blacklist, and if you're not on the blacklist, you're just allowed to transfer stuff. In a corporate sector encompassing tens of thousands of star systems, the kind of record keeping that could keep track of every debt and payment was beyond even the most sophisticated data system. So basically, with tens of thousands of worlds with billions of people on each one of them, you can't just have a white list of everyone on there. You just need to take off all the criminals, and all the criminals are not allowed to access the system, but anyone else is. So it's just kind of an interesting explanation for why this quote-unquote bad technology would exist in the Empire. So anyways, sorry, I thought it was interesting. Alright, so what happens next? They sit down,
have a drink, and then the commanding officer dude starts bragging about killing all of Mayfield's men during the Operation Cinder, and basically Mayfield, like you said, loses his cool and shoots him.
Yeah, which was so unexpected. He totally had like PTSD though. He's like sitting there like thinking about all this stuff, and this guy's like bragging about how, for the good of the Empire, and he's just, the way he was acting, he's just like shaking back and forth in his chair, and he's just like fuming mad, and then all of a sudden he just shoots him. Both Rosie and I are like, oh! It's just so out of nowhere, and both of us are like, what's he gonna do? And I like how all the stormtroopers in the area, they all just kind of stop. They're like, did you just kill him? And then they all like start firing at each other, and I don't know, it was just such a good scene.
Mm-hmm.
Like so unexpected, and like you just screwed yourself, but thank God you have all the support team outside that can help you get out of here.
Right.
But
so yeah, they get extracted. They make their way to the roof or whatever, and Fennec and Cara Dune are sniping people, helping them out, and then they finally jump on to Slave One, and then they strap themselves, or no, they don't strap themselves, and they hold on tight, is what Boba tells them, and they start picking up altitude, and then TIE fighters start chasing them, and then we get nostalgia.
As soon as the TIE fighters are chasing him up, I'm like, they're gonna do it, they're gonna do it, they're gonna do it, and then he's like, hold on, and then he drops the bomb, and I'm like, yes! I was excited.
Sitting in Quick Trip parking lot, and as soon as it went off and it didn't go, and I heard the sound, I just started screaming. I was just like, yeah! It was like 10-year-old me again, seeing it like in Attack of the Clones when Jango did it.
I know.
I mean Empire too.
I've rewatched that scene with going through the asteroids and stuff so many times because I love that sound so much, and everyone does, but just silence. Boom. And it was so cool to see it in atmosphere and against 2 TIE fighters. Just, I don't know, it was just awesome.
It was.
Awesome way to bring it back.
It was definitely, I think, the highlight of the episode for me.
Well, it was until I read about some stuff later, but we'll get to that. So, they fly away. I don't know when they pick up. Oh, no, they land later. And then they're talking and pick up their friends.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they pretty much say to Mayfield, like, Mayfield's like, alright, officer, like, take me away.
Yeah, I guess.
And
take me
Cara
away.
Dune is
like... Oh, we didn't say that Mayfield shot the shipment of Rhydonium and blew up the whole base. So, because the commanding officer was like, with that shipment you brought in here, we're going to be able to unleash the same thing that we unleashed at that other battle. And he's just like...
It's going to make it pale in comparison.
Yeah, that battle that I'm, like, freaking out with PTSD about, I just gave you the capability to do that again. So then that's when he shoots him, and everything goes crazy after that. But when they're flying away, he shoots the Rhydonium, and the whole base blows up, and it was just really cool.
It's not part of the plan. Just had to get some stuff off my chest.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's like, I had to get some stuff off my chest. He's like, now I can sleep at night or whatever. Cause earlier,
now we can all sleep at night.
Now we can all sleep at night. Because earlier in the episode, he's like, you got to have a line, but if you can just make it through the day and be able to sleep with yourself at night, then you're doing good in my book or whatever. Which is like, I don't know. Again, I kind of got emotional at that scene when he shot, and he's like, now we can all sleep at night. I'm like, man, he's just trying to atone for something or get something back. I don't know. It was just good.
I think that also, like I said, kind of let Mando and Cara Dune know where he is.
Yeah.
He's not betraying them. Doesn't plan to.
Yeah.
Like, he's trying to make something right of the situation.
Right.
Too.
And because of that shot, they, let him go.
Well, no, he died in the explosion.
Oh, right. Yeah. I know. I've seen so many things online.
It's a shame that he died in the explosion.
When she said that, it's a shame that Mayfield died in that explosion. And they didn't look at him. Neither of them did. And then Mayfield's like, I'm going to go. And then I like how Mando's just took 1 second to be like, and then they just continue ignoring him. Like, it was almost like, you just don't exist anymore. We're not even going to
I did have a brief moment where I thought, oh, it's a shame that he didn't survive in the explosion. I'm like, oh, are they going to kill him? I thought for a second they were going to pull a gun and shoot him. I was like,
that would have been so unexpected.
Like that, it just, as soon as
alternate ending.
Just like Luke's thought to kill Ben, it came in an instant and it was gone in an instant, and then immediately, I was just like, oh, they're just like letting him go.
That would have been a really cool way to do that scene, though. It's a shame he died in the explosion, and she takes her gun out and just points it at him, and he's like, ah! And then it like gets weird and awkward, and he's like, just kind of walks away, and just nothing else happens. Like, that would have been a kind of a cool thing too. But they did it really well, and I've seen so many things online. Everyone who brings up Mayfield, anytime he's mentioned online, everyone's like, it's a shame he died in that explosion. I mean, it was a good episode and everything, but the writers sucked. They set up this whole story arc for this guy only for him to die in an explosion.
So part of me wonders, is that also like a loophole for Mando? Because like if I know he's like technically still alive, but like if he goes and like tells everybody, oh yeah, like Mayfield died, he's like, So technically,
to everyone else,
no living
one
person has
saw him.
seen your face.
Right, yeah. Which, okay, we gotta talk about that whole scene. We didn't even talk about it yet. When he has his helmet off, he takes his helmet off to get his face scanned. What do you guys think of that? I felt like naked. I'm like, like people are seeing you. Like, oh my gosh,
I was legitimately thinking he was gonna like, kind of like just remove his helmet like this.
Yeah.
To like get scanned and then put it back on.
Yeah.
But then he like puts it under his arm, and I'm like, dude, come on, man, you could have like gotten around this.
Technically, no one was looking at his face. No one could really see his full face.
That commanding officer was just staring at him the whole time.
Correct.
The whole time, I'm like, what is he going to do? That officer's going to... when he was getting his face scanned, he's at that terminal, and I like how the officer comes up and he's yelling at him, and Amando's just... and he grabs the stick out, and like you can tell he's just so uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Like, everything he believes in his entire life is just getting exposed and destroyed right now.
Technically, no living being has seen his face.
Well, I know, but in that moment, though, he's just...
That's why I was like, is that a loophole for his, like, beliefs?
As if he kills him after?
No, like, because, like, he obviously knows that, like, Mayfield's alive, but, like, he has to tell everybody, like, yeah, nobody alive has seen my face.
Because... Yeah,
and he even told Mando, I never saw your face.
Yeah. I know. That was a cool scene between them.
I had mad respect for that.
Yeah. I know. He's like, I never saw your face, and he turns his head away and gives him his helmet back.
I like how he kept his head away, too.
Yeah.
I was like,
all right.
The whole time Mando had his helmet off, it was just interesting watching him because he didn't, like, emote anything. He just... like.
Dude, are you kidding me? In his face, I read, like,
in his eyes
pure, like,
terror.
fear.
Yeah, but he didn't, like, say...
He's just like...
He didn't do,
dude,
like...
I don't even want to
like,
talk.
Hey, like, he didn't... His whole face was just, like, stoic the whole time, except for, like, the fear in his eyes, because he's just uncomfortable.
Right.
But he's so used to having the mask on. It's kind of like us now with the coronavirus masks that we gotta wear. Like, I'm always going, like... like, I'm breathing weird, because, like, I don't want my glasses to fog up, so I swear, half the time, I'm just... like, if you saw me behind my mask... Like, I expected Mando to have some weird face the whole time. Like, this is just a normal resting face.
That's why you just don't wear one.
Yeah. I don't know. So, Mando is now officially an anti-masker. This whole series is about how a man goes away from religion and becomes an anti-masker. I don't know, it's weird. Anyways. So
he's a major, by the way.
Oh,
that's why I was quiet so long. I was looking up the.
you're trying to find
I was literally just like looking at like Imperial ranks.
Nice.
Because like it's weird because his outfit has like this little thing which kind of just looks like a pen.
Sure.
Like in like a little slot, but it's actually part of like the rank insignia of like showing that he's a major in the army.
Okay.
Navy.
Maybe.
There are separate ones for the Navy. Which is weird because, like, for that specific one where it's 4 red on top and then the 4 blue below, the Navy is just slightly spread out more.
Whoa.
It's like you really
That's
have to
why you were so quiet over there.
I'm
You're
like
trying to figure out what the difference is.
Well, because I was looking at, like, pictures of his outfit during the episode, which, did you guys recognize him at all? Like, the actor?
Who?
He seemed vaguely familiar, but I don't know.
Yeah, he seemed familiar.
Have you guys ever seen The Kingsman?
Yeah.
He's the guy who interrogates the recruits and like has them on like the train tracks. He's like, you gotta give them up.
Oh, now I recognize him. He's in a
lot of stuff.
Yeah, he's always like that sleazy villain character.
He's almost always a villain.
Yeah.
He's a villain in Game of Thrones, but you would not recognize him because he always has prosthetics on. He's the Night King.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
He's the big bad one.
Wow. So yeah, Mayfield dies in the explosion, and then they take off, and then is that when it cuts to Moff Gideon?
Mm-hmm.
When I first watched it, right as soon as the episode ended, I'm like, this is the dumbest scene ever. Why would you tell him that you're after him, and that you know where he is, and that you're coming for him, and like all this stuff? But then, like, were you getting shivers because it was such a good scene?
Well, I had cold shivers because it's a little chilly down here, but but I legit had like shivers watching that scene. I was like,
it was like powerful and stuff, but I'm like, why would you tell them that you're after him? If I was coming after you to attack you,
it's not just that, but it's
I
like
wouldn't tell you right now, hey, I'm coming for you. Be on guard. I would just...
Well, obviously not, like, because
You
we're in the
understand?
same room.
It's to instill fear.
Yeah, exactly.
But did Moff Gideon feel fear? No, I don't feel like he felt
Are you
fear
kidding
at
me?
all.
Like,
You think?
the way he looked.
What did you think about the scene?
Nah. I'm just done.
What? What do you mean?
You just have like the complete wrong outlook on everything.
No,
for this.
that's how I felt. I don't feel that way anymore because I switched. But what did you think about the scene?
Same thing as Sherman.
Do you know what Mando said in that scene? And where it comes from?
Like, are you talking as a father right now?
Do you know where the Mando said what he said in that scene? Where it comes from?
Like, it comes from the English language that he spoke.
So
yeah, I was like, I don't know what you're getting
Are you
at.
talking about the quote is a direct quote from something else?
yes.
Ooh. No, I did not look at that heavily into it.
Ah, crap on.
Was it from?
It's from the Mandalorian. So this is from a post on Reddit by Jameson Juicebox, but it's titled Chapter 7 reflected in Chapter 15. So in Chapter
so it's a
7,
callback.
in Chapter 7, when Moff Gideon
Oh, I knew that was a callback to something.
is attacking them in that bar, and they're all sitting in there right before it explodes and all that stuff. Moff Gideon comes up with all the stormtroopers,
Oh, yeah, I
and he
remember
says,
this.
"You have something I want. You may think you have some idea of what you are in possession of, but you do not. In a few moments, it will be mine. It means more to me than you will ever know." It's exactly what Mando says in that hologram.
Right.
Said, "You have something I want. You may have some idea of what you have possession of, but you do not. Soon he will be back. He will be back with me, not it." He switches it from it to he. "Soon he will be back with me. He means more to me than you will ever know." Like, oh my gosh, when I read that, I was like getting chills and I'm like kind of teared up. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh, I thought you didn't think of that right away?
No, I didn't.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You knew that?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I didn't know that.
That's why I'm like...
I was
shaking my
asking,
head
do you know
again.
where that came from? And you're like, oh, the English language? No, it came from the episode before. He's
Yes.
throwing his
I,
words back. in his
I
face.
legit thought you were
season
going to say
finale.
something deeper.
No, what?
Yeah, that was not...
How is that not deep?
Like,
I'm
on
not
a-
saying
on
it's
a-
not deep.
On a, like, interest level of, like, how awesome that was, what you just said, and how obvious it was, like, here compared to where you hyped it to be.
I was expecting a
I'm
grander,
sure,
like...
I'm sure about 90% of Mandalorian fans were well aware that was a callback
No,
to that.
I didn't, and a lot of people did not know that.
It's
It's a pretty specific line from an episode that we saw, what, a year ago? 6 months ago? Like,
So, keep in mind, like, once again, like, this is why, like, I think Dustin and I are on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he tells him, like, he's coming for him, because, like,
yeah.
and especially to quote the exact same thing he
know.
said to him.
It was just
like,
really cool. And
It's throwing his own words in his
You can
face.
crap on me all you want. I'm just saying, I love that
I'm not
scene.
crapping on you,
It's-
I'm just
It was super
explaining
powerful.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, don't say we're crapping on it, because we're not crapping on it.
You're not
your
crapping
words.
on, you're on me. 'Cause
Yes,
you're like, oh, you're an
on
idiot because you
you,
don't
not
remember this.
Mando.
I'm sorry, I don't know
I'm not
everything.
crapping on you.
I'm sorry I don't know everything in Star
So,
Wars.
so don't pull that card either. Don't pull the self-pity card either. That doesn't work.
I know, and it's not going to work you. I'm just telling
Yeah.
everybody, like, I love that scene, and it was super
No,
powerful.
it was great.
Like, so much, especially, like, being a dad,
And
and,
I'm not
like,
cutting on you.
saying, I'm going to come after you, and throwing someone else's words back at them like that. Like, it was so powerful.
So that's exactly why you do that to, like, your enemy. Is like, obviously, I'm not going to tell you, like, face to face, hey, I'm coming for you. But, like, actually, that would be, like, I would probably, like, add, you're not going to know when, you're not going to know where, but it's going to happen.
Right.
Like, you would be, like, on edge for,
It's
like,
it's like
days.
slaps giving from How I Met Your Mother. Like,
Exactly.
you never know what's going to happen.
But, like, you instill fear because, like, that is what makes people mess up.
Yeah.
Well, that and Moff Gideon's face did slightly change it.
Yeah, he looked worried. Like, he's like, oh, crap. I've got a Mandal...
I
Like,
took it as, like,
especially if he
like,
doesn't
considering-
know...
Considering that Moff Gideon thought, haha, I jumped to light speed and they don't have no idea where we are. And then all of a sudden,
he gets a
Mando's
transmission
gets he gets a transmission from Mando saying, "Hey, I'm coming for you. I know where you are." He's like, "How the heck do you know that?"
Right.
He's shocked.
Yeah. But, like, you think you'd be able to change position and, like, get out of there, but I don't know.
Well,
I think
it's
I think he's got the position of the ship and wherever.
yeah, imagine, like, being able to
Maybe he has,
ping
like,
your
the
cell phone.
transponder yeah, like the transponder.
I think he's got like the
signal.
tracking code for
Right,
that ship.
that makes sense.
Because, like, I'm looking forward to it because, like, they don't really talk about whether or not, like, does Moff Gideon know that there's more than one Mandalorian, like, on that ship? Or is it just Mando that he's worried about now?
Wait, there's more than one Mandalorian on that ship?
No. Oh, technically.
Like with Boba, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, does he know?
I
Like,
thought you meant on Moff Gideon's ship.
no.
Like,
on with.
Okay, gotcha. So, and then there was one other post that hit me really cool. It was on Twitter by Communist Kenobi, which is a weird name, but the quote, "He means more to me than you will ever know." Din delivers this line after having spent time in an Imperial base with his face uncovered, which is probably the single most traumatic thing that has happened to him since his parents died. Moff Gideon can't conceive of that kind of sacrifice, and Din was willing to go there before he's even come close to getting the kid. Like, he's willing to go that extreme.
Yeah.
Before even, like, just for the chance of saving the kid, you know? And he's fully prepared to destroy himself in every meaningful sense of the word in order to get his child back. And that's actually the most Mandalorian thing he's ever done. Like, man, this whole episode, like, to me, like, hit me hard. Like, hype-wise, the last episode was, like, amazing. You know what I mean? Like, so much stuff happened.
I think there's a lot more depth
but this one was so much more in depth.
Mm-hmm.
And with Mayfield and all the stuff he's talking about when they're driving and stuff, and just there was just a lot more character development and just depth in this episode.
100%.
Yeah, so it was really good.
Because, like, I called it, like, when I watched it with my mom, like, I told her before, I'm like, it's kind of a filler episode for the finale.
That's kind of how I felt.
But, like, I told her again, like, it develops so much of the story.
That's how I felt right as they were watching the transport going, when Mando was, like, scanning the troopers and stuff before he said, "I'll do it." I'm like, oh, so they're just going to go in, get the location of the ship, that's what this episode is, whatever. But then they turned it into, like, this super deep, like, he had to sacrifice himself, and I don't know, it just, all this crazy stuff happened, and you're like, oh, wow, okay, this is a lot. Even with a simple premise of having to go get some information, they turned it into this amazing episode, so, and there's a lot of different callbacks and just different things in it, so it was good. If you can't tell, we're really enjoying this season.
Best season so far?
Yeah.
I was, I'll be honest, I was a little disappointed when he took his helmet off that he still had his mustache going. I was like, I feel like he would have shaved that off, but...
You can tell it's not, like, formed. It's just, like, kind of what's been growing for a little while.
No, it's just a mustache. He's got, like...
some side stuff.
I mean, it wasn't, like, prominent.
Yeah.
But...
He takes so much pride in his looks. It's like someone who creates something but is scared to show it to anybody.
Yeah, I would have imagined either like a full like, or like just straight 5 o'clock shadow, which is like they haven't shaved in like 4 days, but
his hair is like worn away from where the helmet rests on.
Yeah, how does he not have just like hat hair?
I don't know. Good space
or helmet hair.
Space pomade. All right. Well, I think that's it for this episode.
I don't got anything else. Yeah.
You want to take us out?
Sure. Thanks, guys, for watching this episode of Fandom Nights of covering Chapter 15 of The Mandalorian. Be sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and TikTok coming soon. And always subscribe. Thank you, guys. May the Force be with you.